Hey Internet Harris here. It's been over a year since my last upload, past 100,000 subs. Thank you all very much for watching and continuing to watch. Okay, over the years I've become a bigger and bigger fan of smaller and smaller devices. From the 14-inch MacBook Pro over the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the iPhone 13 mini over the 13 Pro, even down to my Kindle. I've always loved my Kindle Paperwhite, and in fact, this might be my favorite device period right now, but that's for another video, which hopefully will be soon. So I didn't think I would love the Kindle Scribe, and I wasn't completely wrong, but I wasn't completely right either. This has been my experience with the Kindle Scribe, a device I didn't initially love, but after one change to it, really changed how I use this device for the better. Let's go ahead and check out the Kindle Scribe review. Okay, so right off the bat, if you're looking to get this for Christmas, and unfortunately it looks like it's too late from Amazon anyway, but they're doing some really good sales right now. When I bought this, it was a lot more expensive than it is now, so it actually makes it automatically a more attractive device right now just because of the sales going on. So let's get started with that one big change. So I actually didn't realize how much I didn't like the design of this device. Now, it is very well built, sturdy materials, it's slim, it's high quality. In an objective sense, I really like it, but I found I just really disliked holding it because it's so thin, it's slick on the back, it's metal, and there's just not a great way to comfortably hold this, in my opinion. Now, I haven't seen other reviewers say this, so maybe that's just me, but at least compared to the Kindle, which was smaller, lighter, more rounded, matte texture on the back, so much easier to hold, I just really disliked holding this without a case. Now, it is perfectly designed if you're writing on a flat surface because of the little bumps on the back. It's great for that. But I found that when I put a case on it, it made it night and day better, not just for grip purposes, I now had something to hold onto, but also I can put it up in a stand when I'm reading on my desk so I don't have to prop it up on another book. I found that this just made it perfect, so much better than using the Kindle without it. You may disagree, and this is not sponsored, so feel free to do what you want, but I found that a case was a very helpful addition to my Kindle, and also keeps the pen locked in because that would always fall off my backpack, which is very frustrating. Now, unfortunately, this does mean that if you get a case, that just adds more to the cost. I think this one was only 20 bucks when I got it, and I really dig the Vincent van Gogh Starry Night design on it. I think Amazon's is closer to $50 or $60 if you buy their case. Now, I just want to give you a size reference of this Kindle. So this is the Kindle Scribe. Here is a standard composition notebook. Here's an iPad Pro 11. You can see that size difference. And I'll stack on an iPad mini, and then the Kindle Paperwhite. And then you can see the iPad Pro 12, which just dwarfs all of these. Okay, secondly, the stylus. So I bought the base model, the cheapest one, because when I got this over a year ago, I figured I was just gonna test it out. Didn't really want the more expensive pen. I do regret that now because if you're going to be using this for writing a lot, you're probably going to want the eraser and the extra side button to customize to an eraser or whatever you want to customize it to. I didn't. Now, on the bright side, I learned that you can use a lot of other stylus options, some of which you can just order from Amazon for other devices. I have a couple good options here, but I also learned that you can just use something like an S Pen from a Galaxy tab, and it even has a little side button that you can use. So I've been using this with it, with the side button that I already had laying around, no issues, or other third-party ones. So that's pretty handy, just a nice little tip. You can use other styli if you don't want to use Amazon's, or if you don't want to pay the $60 to upgrade to the fancier pen after you purchase it, or the $30 just to upgrade when you're buying it. So I've got 4 different stylus options here. This is Amazon's basic one, their cheapest option, and this is really good, but it's lacking the button or the eraser. So I have to go in here every time if I want to highlight or erase. Then there's something like this Staedtler Norris digital jumbo pen, which has a more rubbery tip. So it gives you a really satisfying rubbery feel, more of a grip in the pen, and then the eraser works really nicely as well. This won't fit inside the pen slot on that case I showed you earlier, so just a heads up there. Then there's this third-party one that has both the button and the pen function. So I'll show you this one. This one has a much harder tip, and if you press down with the minimum pressure, it actually won't show up. So you have to press in a little bit to show up. So this has a harder tip, but it has the highlighter function and then the eraser as well. I don't really love this one, but it does have kind of the best of all three worlds, and I believe it's only $30. And then here's Samsung's S Pen, which is a really nice in-between option as well. And it does have the side button. It just lacks the eraser, and it still sticks to the Kindle. Either way, the pen experience is surprisingly really nice on this device. It has probably the best writing experience on any device I've used, and by any device I've used, I pretty much mean versus an iPad or a Galaxy Tab. So not a whole lot of comparison. I haven't used a Remarkable, but this is definitely the closest I've found with a digital device to using or comparing it to pen on paper. Great texture, great sound, really high quality experience, pretty low latency as well, and just a really well-built pen. Again, I would recommend upgrading to the premium model or just getting a third-party stylus option if you do intend on writing a lot. I think that's just overall going to make a big difference. And as it stands, it's just not very elegant to go and tap the eraser button on the e-ink display, which has a little bit of lag if you're switching back and forth a lot. Now in terms of the notebooks on this, there's a dedicated tab at the bottom of the device for notebooks. And no other Kindle has this feature, so that's unique to this, and it works pretty well. They have some preset templates that you can choose from, and it doesn't seem like you can import your own templates into this, although of course you could import a PDF and just reuse that as a template if you wanted to do that. Now Amazon has thankfully upgraded the options over the past few software upgrades, so there's now 4 different very nice options for writing, as well as 2 of the options having pressure sensitivity with your stylus, which is really nice. I think it's just a great experience overall. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of something like an iPad. You're not going to be copying and pasting stickers and images and pulling things from websites, all this kind of stuff that you could do from an iPad, but this is purposefully in between an iPad and pencil and paper because Amazon did add, thankfully, the selection option, which they didn't have earlier, so you can drag around text and rearrange and resize things. Even if it is a little bit clunky, it's still a little bit better than pen and paper in that regard. There's other basic functions with the notebooks, such as folders and subfolders, so you can organize, and you can now rearrange your pages within the notebook. However, one thing that's really severely lacking on this device is the ability to multi-select items in your collection. So say you had 4 different articles that you wanted to move into a folder. You can't select multiple of them. You have to go through the kind of lengthy, annoying process of manually selecting, moving, selecting your folder, and selecting done. Amazon, please add a feature where you can multi-select notes and files and books and audiobooks to move them to collections or notebooks. That'd be very handy. Now, one big limitation with this is that there's no multitasking. Can't have 2 notes up side by side to compare, but also not even a PDF or a book and a note open at the same time, which is a bit of a limiting feature even on a display that is 10.2 inches, which is plenty big to do this. You can do this pretty comfortably on an iPad with the 8-inch screen. So that might be too much horsepower or more bells and whistles than a Kindle should have, or at least that Amazon decided it should have. But hopefully they add this in the future so you can have a book up on one half and on the other half you can be taking notes or comparing your notes or something like that. Now in terms of book reading experience, the stylus pretty much just works as your finger within a book. Now if it's a PDF, different. The pen acts as a pen, but for a book, it's a little bit misleading because while you can take handwritten notes, you have to do a sticky note, which is fine, but just is not at all the book experience of a physical book where you can see your handwriting and kind of remember where it was as you're reading and thinking back to that book. So that's a bit misleading. Amazon has come out with a few books that you can actually write on now, but these are pretty much just PDFs. They're pretty static documents and templates that you can write on. Now, if you do have a PDF, you can use interactive PDF. So if you have some type of journal or planner that you can interact to different months and days and click, this does support that, which is a pretty sweet feature. Now, there are still some things about this that are a bit confusing. One, there's no auto rotate. So while you can now rotate this horizontally, which I can't believe you couldn't do that before, but you have to manually go back and forth for every single book. There's no auto rotate or the ability to turn auto rotate on or off. So if you have a book that is landscape, or maybe you have kind of the 2-column view of something that you've sent to your Kindle, you're going to have to manually rotate and unrotate every single time that you want to switch, which is very annoying. And I wish that there was some type of auto rotate. Now you can switch, 180 degrees, but you can't switch 90 degrees with what you're reading. Now for me in a dream world, this would also have a camera, just a basic camera, just so I can scan things into the Kindle. That'd be amazing. But the send to Kindle is also very easy. So you can do that from your phone, from your Mac, or your computer, or you can email to Kindle. I've used that several times too, just sending a document to your personal email Kindle account, or just using the website. I have it bookmarked, send to Kindle. I can load up an EPUB or a PDF or a doc, or whatever I need to send over, and that works very well, and usually will show up on the Kindle within a couple minutes, and that works great. And then of course you have all the other Kindle benefits. Battery, amazing. USB-C, very nice to have, and it's just so nice to use in direct sunlight. Sometimes direct sunlight and bright lights can actually kind of overpower the display and create some bad glare, but you just angle it a little bit and it's a really pleasant experience reading on this with very few distractions. So at the end of the day, I specifically like this Kindle because for my classes where I get a lot of PDFs and a lot of documents, I don't have to print them all out and just take up more paper and space. I can send them on here and I can still read them and annotate them without any issues. With the case, it becomes significantly more comfortable to hold, and I can just go off with my audiobooks and regular ebooks, and I send lots of articles and all types of documents to this that I'm reading all the time, which is just fantastic. And it's a good way of getting away from an iPad, away from a phone, away from a computer, and still getting work done, classwork, reading, and writing. Now, if I wasn't in classes, wasn't reading materials for class, I'd probably just stick with this Kindle because I can throw it in my winter coat or sometimes even a back pocket, and certainly any bag that I have. It's a little bit less obtrusive when traveling, reading on the train with one hand, all these type of things that I love about that Kindle. But for more stationary purposes, for throwing in a backpack, which the case also helps for, this Kindle Scribe is a really, really good device. Keep in mind, it's not going to be able to do everything an iPad can, certainly, but it has all the benefits of a Kindle, plus a really nice writing experience. And with the current sales that Amazon's doing, I think it is a worthwhile device. However, at the normal price, plus the premium pen and plus a case, it's starting to get probably a little bit more expensive than I would recommend. Let me know your thoughts, and thanks very much for watching.